Hi, this is Scott of the American black metal band Cloak, and you're listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I'd like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio with its 13th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Scott. I want to welcome you to the Metal Bloodshed with the DJ Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. Believe me, it's a great honor to have you here.
How you doing?
Okay. Scott, having born in Atlanta, Georgia, and had been part of bands like Haunting, Shanka, how is the scene there in Georgia?
It's always been pretty good. The metal scene is pretty strong. It's sort of the similar kind of group of people that have been coming for the past decade that, I've been a part of, decade and a half at least. Yeah, I grew up playing in hardcore punk bands and then sort of went towards the metal movement after, I got involved in a couple of those bands. And now I just play strictly metal, and the only band that I have is Cloak at the moment. So, it's been going strong, but we tend to not really associate ourselves with a lot of the scene anyways. We just do our own thing. So we're not really concerned with kind of what the different trends in the city are. And everyone's got their own band and they're doing their own thing, and as are we.
Unyielding darkness and brutality emerged from the deep south of the United States. As we just said, Atlanta-based quartet Cloak blend the sound of black metal and rock and roll, create their own unique and menacing sound. Scott, please give us some more details on how did you guys form the band, and please present us the band current lineup.
Yeah, so me and Sean started initially working on what would form Cloak in 2013 and the beginning of 2014. But we really started going strong in 2015 in the beginning of the year. And Max came in and our original bassist came in, and we did that lineup for 3 years or so. And right now it's still the same core, which, me, Sean, and Max, and our new bassist, well, not new anymore, our current bassist, Billy, is still with us. And we're working on a new album now, so he'll be on that. So the last lineup for the last album is the same as this next album.
So Billy was not on the last album, The Burning Down, right?
No, he was on that album. He wasn't on the first album.
Okay. Understood. Yes, Cloak's self-titled debut EP was a bit of an underground phenomenon. The Atlantans arrived from nowhere to impress not just the fans of rock and field black metal, but also the labels. The EP, 2 songs, In the Darkness, The Path, and The Hunger, parlate a particular occult jargon style aesthetic where the frills were coated in subdued evil and thrills imbued with a bespoke sweet swagger. Please, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the deal done with Boris Record and about this EP. I believe the band was still in searching of its sound at the time.
Yeah, the EP was just 2 of our earliest songs. We did a demo with those songs that I recorded in the practice space, and then we re-recorded them for the EP. And those songs also were re-recorded on our first record, To Venomous Depths. Those songs are just, we play both of them live still. They're kind of staples in the set, especially In the Darkness, The Path. They were just good songs to put as like a sample for what the band is on that first EP. And it worked because after the first EP, we got signed to Season of Mist before we even did a full-length album. So we had our first full-length come out on a great label.
Okay, but how was the deal done at a time with Boris Record?
Boris, they're a local label, and we just knew them, and they were interested in putting that out, so they did. Sam's a great guy, and he's put out a bunch of really good, mostly Southern metal bands on that label. So it was just a mutual partnership.
Okay. Cloak have named this section Deep Purple and Fields of Nephilim as main influences. The band's 2017 debut to full-length, The Venomous Depths, was a perfect amalgamation of Nordic black metal with catchy hooks and melodic rock with great tunes like Forever Burn, Beyond the Veil, Where No Light Shines. To mention some, Scott, what are there you like to share with us about the influence that you guys got from all the bands I mentioned?
I think in the beginning we just named those bands as, I think we just put those 3 bands on our Facebook, and somehow they got in the press a lot. We put like Dissection, Deep Purple, and Fields of the Nephilim just because it are 3 bands that encapsulate a sound. And I think press just kind of kept writing about that. But there were just 3 bands we happened to mention on our bio on like our first Facebook or something.
Talking about the press, Scott, not to dismiss what the critic says, tell us a little bit about this comparison with Watain and especially Tribulation.
That's another thing that the press did. I think we're different enough at this point, and especially on our new album, it's going to separate us into a band of our own. And it's basically just lazy journalism to constantly have to compare bands to try to get the listeners' attention. I think we stand on our own at this point, and we always have. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is just all press created. You know, there's millions of black metal and death metal bands that sound the exact same, but they don't say anything about them because they'll just say like, oh yeah, this is Emperor worship or this is Morbid Angel worship. But it's like if you sort of sound like a contemporary band, they take it in one direction and they keep talking about it over and over. So it's just a bit of a laugh at this point. I think we definitely stand on our own.
Okay, talking about the 2 singles from the EP, I mean, what's the reason you decided to add them to the Venomous Depths album?
They just felt like they belonged on to Venomous Depths. Yeah, we just included them because they're still good songs, and we changed little parts to the songs a little bit on the album. The EP versus the album recordings are slightly different, so we just felt like we needed to include them on the album.
Talking about your debut with Season of Mist, like you just said, how did you get signed with them?
They heard the EP and essentially were interested after that. So it was just, it was right place at the right time, basically.
Okay, at the same time, the band announced the US tour that was back then in December supporting Gold Core. You guys have released a single, this cover song of Misfit, London Dungeon. Yeah, that was released, I think, if I'm not wrong, in October 2018. Any special reason, Scott, for have decided to release this Misfits cover?
It's just a band that we've always really, really been influenced by ever since we were 13. You know, we thought we did a pretty good job uncovering that specific song. Parts of it almost sound like it could be a Cloak song. So we just thought it was a good fit, and I think it came out pretty unique and we liked it. So we threw it on a 7-inch and then put a demo, like a To Venomous Depths demo on the B side of it. So we recorded the cover during the first album recording session. But yeah, people seem to like it, the cover. It's cool to not cover just strictly like black or death metal too. So it's cool to do more rock or punk tunes or something like that. So that's why we did that.
I really like the way you guys did the cover.
Cool.
It's very great. I really enjoy listening to it. Okay, to continue with this interview, Atlanta's Georgia's Cloak have been rapidly gaining momentum since their 2017 acclaimed release, The Venomous Depths. Their 2019 release, The Burning Down, was even better, and there was not a restoration of sound which appeared on the debut album. Cloak's musical manifestation is endued with excellent talent and quality, with outstanding tracks like Tempter's Call, Into Storm, A Voice Into the Night, Lifeless Silence, and the complete album, I must say. You know, I have to be very honest with you, Scott. I mean, I sit down and I really took my time and really dig into your music and listen to all these albums, which I really love, and especially the 2019 one. Wow, it's a great album.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, how was this album being accepted by critic and fans?
I think it's been accepted very well. And, you know, obviously it came out 3 months before, well, like 4 months before COVID really, you know, took its toll on the music scene and on the earth in general. So we didn't really get to tour it that much, and that was a huge disappointment, but every band is in the same boat. In a way, The Burning Dawn is basically on pause until we can start touring again, because it did come out just a couple months before the pandemic hit. So I think fans, for the most part, enjoy The Burning Dawn as an album more, but I think there's still a ton of people that really enjoyed the first one, and they're both different in their own ways. And I mean, the new album that we're working on is way different than both of them. So we're still really proud of Dawn, and we hope to really tour it as much as we can before the next one comes out, because I don't want it to be some like lost COVID album because we couldn't tour on it. So hopefully we can.
Talking about Burning Down, that's the band's second work with Season of Mist. How was this handled by the label?
I think it was handled all right. They're a good label and they know what they're doing. So, you know, it was normal. We do all our own music videos, so I edited all 3 of the music videos for that album, and they were shot by me and the guitarist. You know, we have a heavy hand in what our stuff looks like visually. So we're still a very like DIY band, you know, do-it-yourself band at the end of the day.
Okay, in support of the promotional cycle of this great album, The Burning Down, the band did many shows and tours in the U.S. and outside the U.S. One of them great tours was the one you guys did with Uada and Warmwich, the one supporting Chemist, and not to forget the one with 1349 and Uada.
Yeah.
How was these shows and tours gone?
Yeah, they were all really, really good tours for us. And so the first 2 you mentioned with Uada the first time around and then Chemist were still supporting our first album. And then Burning Dawn came out, and the day that album came out, that was the day that the tour started. So that was really, really good to hit the ground running on that album. And it sold really well, and I felt like we pulled in the audience really well. And it was a really, really good tour for us. I liked that one a lot. And then the world shut down soon after.
Talking about tours, I see that you guys have a tour pending now with the band Demiser.
Yeah.
My question is, Scott, will this tour go on?
Yeah, I mean, so far I've heard nothing about cancellations. I mean, it's so hard to say, everything's up in the air, but I haven't heard anything about cancellations, so I think it should. And Demiser's another really, really cool Southern metal band that are doing things a little bit different than the South usually does them, just like we are. So I think it's going to be a really, really good package. And they just came out with an album this year, so they have some hype around them right now. And it's well deserved. They're a good band. And we played our record release show with them for the Burning Dawn at the end of 2019, and it went over really well.
Okay, you're going to be touring, yes, in the States itself. I see different dates. Okay, after this tour, what are plans or what are there for the bands in promotion of this album for 2021 and 2022, Scott?
Well, we're going to do that tour, and we actually just entered the studio 2 weeks ago. We're recording our 3rd album right now. So, I mean, really the rest of this year is going to have to do with finishing the studio stuff that we need to do for that album, and then all the promotional stuff. So 2022 we'll be seeing the release of our 3rd album. But in between that time, before it comes out, we're just going to still be touring as much as we can before the 3rd album even comes out. So we're going to try to stay busy and try to keep the Burning Dawn alive as much as we can before the 3rd album comes out.
Okay, any dates, any idea when in 2022 we can expect the new album?
Not yet. There's no dates yet, so I couldn't really tell you that. We're hoping by the spring or the summer. That would be ideal, but everything's backed up right now in the plants for the pressing, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think since you're gonna consider to still promoting the Burning Down, I think it's gonna be a while since at least we can get the first single of the 3rd album.
Maybe, we'll see. It's hard to say. I mean, we're such in the beginning phases of the recording right now, but it's gonna be a really, really good album. The 3rd one is gonna definitely turn some heads, and it's much different. It's much more aggressive. Yeah, it's a whole new chapter for the band for sure.
But are you guys still gonna be working with Season of Mist for this one?
Yeah. This will be coming out on Season of Mist.
Okay, very great. Yes, to end this great interview, Scott, before we leave, I like to ask you, for those who wants, to buy the album, first of all, still, those who didn't buy it as yet, and for those that wants to get merchandises, where should they go?
You can go to the Season of Mist website. There's a European and there's a US website. You can also just go to our Bandcamp, and in the merch section, there is a section for the records. Those are the 2 probably best places to get the records.
Okay, and how about merchandises? What do you have available?
You can also get that from the sites that I mentioned. Just go to the Bandcamp under the merch section, and Holy Mountain Printing also has some shirts that we sell. I know they're kind of low in stock right now, so your best bet's going to be to go to the Season of Mist website or our Bandcamp under the merch section.
Okay, Scott, once again, I want to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio for you to thank whoever you want to thank.
All right, this is Scott with Cloak. I want to thank anyone who has listened to the band or supported us in any way, and I want to thank DJ Vampire and Metal Messiah Radio for this interview.
Okay, Scott, once again, I kindly ask you to say hello to all of the members of the band for me.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell them hi.
Okay, and I wish you all the best for the band. I wish you all the best for the shows that you have coming. coming. I wish you all the best with this album so far, with Burning Down, and I wish you all the best in the making of the band's full third album.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.